1 situation. You've got the Taliyah that can move about the map. You've got a Sejuani that can set up picks for you. You've got a Lucian Nami lane, which basically all but signals, hey, we want to win this game early enough. We'll have to see if they are able to carry it as we go into game number 2 in the Battle of the Banks. 1 game in favor of CTBC Flying Oyster, but Megabank looking to fire back for themselves. The winner, the stakes have never been higher here, as it is a grand finals appearance on the line and a guaranteed lock-in to the World Championships.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, the big storyline here, not only is it Battle of the Banks, it's also the fact that this is one of these teams will be going to Worlds, whether it's through play-ins or straight into the group stage. That will be determined at the end of this weekend. However, this is very much a side lane competition coming in from BYG. Not so much of the big, robust team fight setups that we've constantly seen in the first 2 series. And getting slapped down like that in the first game does sort of force your hand in just full pivoting, right? So I don't hate this approach coming in from BYG. It's just a matter of, are they able to fully execute around it?
I think that's going to be the challenge. Will they be able to do it? They certainly have given themselves some firepower early on. And it's more comfort for CFO in some of these cases too, especially Mission as we get our pause coming through. Let's talk a little bit more about how these drafts broke down, or about how this composition is put into place, because we are seeing the Lucian Nami running, of course, with the now seemingly much more common first strike. So it does have a little bit of power in the burst into the later stages of the game. But you're dealing with a side of CFO that have a pretty beefy front line, I have to admit. We've seen Gemini's Viego build into tank as the game goes on. That does seem to be kind of their modus operandi, because it's going to be about protecting Mission, about protecting the Callista as well. So I'm wondering, Nightstar, like at what point in the game do we start to wonder, when does Beyond need to make a play? Do we want to see them dominate the lane phase, something that's been tough for any team to do against CFO?
Yeah, with the Sejuani pick, you're going to want to attack some of these lanes a little bit earlier. But as the game progresses, the game will shift. They can still certainly scale to a certain degree, but it's not going to be in the straight up team fight, which is what we typically see out of. Oh, okay. Ooh, kill.
Oh my goodness, they're going all in for this one. The Lucian Nami lane loses out on first blood. Koala secures it with the Ignite for himself. Talk about a bloodthirsty support and a bot laner to pair. Aggressive flash forward, and they burn both of Kino's Sums and skewer that fish. What a great start to CFO's game. And yeah, we're going to take a look at the instant replay on that one, how it all started, how it got underway. Well, this 2v2, so much for the favorability, because that's a great handshake from Koala.
And here's the thing, Lucian Nami is really strong, but that's at level 3. That was a trade at level 1. And level 1, Callista still reigns supreme because you kind of get 1.5 skills, right? Being able to constantly stick onto a target by hopping with that passive. And now Minji will be able to hold on to his summoners, and that's the most important factor of that game. Gemini still really pleased with the results, being able to burn through the rest of the potions in the hands of Minji.
Yeah, that's helpful, as Mission will be able to lane even more freely. And, you know, a lot of wave clear between both the Taliyah and the Victor. Victor a little bit hard to gank, but early on you think would be the best opportunity. Minji going to be forced to back away and take a little bit of downtime, take a breather. Maybe go to the mall and spend a little while jamming out to some chill vibes like we have seen on the Star Guardian Taliyah playlist. Shout out to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, Nightstar. It's honestly, it's just an hour plus of just pure vibes, man.
All right, I will have to tune into that one then.
I'll link you up after the series.
There's a lot of problems. They're going to miss that ward, and that's actually massive. Although Ucha, I think, just showed on the wave straight up.
Yeah.
Down in this bottom lane, they finally hit level 3. Now they can start looking for trades, and the big thing is just going to be, again, can their lanes hold up? As Okay, that's actually a big pick off there.
That was good. Got the flash out of Mission. He does respect it. Doesn't greed. Thinks he can hold on to it instead, not wanting to give Mission, or rather Minji, a setup. First blood, so far, the only kill in this game. A lot earlier than last time around. It took 17.5 in game 1, but CFO were able to get it in 3 with that 2v2 down bottom. Even earlier than that, if I recall correctly.
Straight up level 1 kill. Yeah. So
yeah, that was something. It's a great bot lane, Shin and Koala.
Oh yeah,
probably our 2 best bot lanes in the league.
And it is sort of a mismatch down in this bot lane because of that, right? Because Kino, while he is really, really good support, one of our better supports in the league, he really shines when it's more of a melee versus melee matchup. And in this case, being on the Nami does change the complexion of this bot lane quite a bit.
That is very fair. I think, yeah, if there's one weakness for Kino, it is the difference between him on heavy engage supports and these enchanters. And Lucian Nami definitely something I don't think we're entirely expecting to see, although they have taken at least 4 times prior. The yoink in onto Kino does a little bit more damage as the wave is shoved, and man, you can see the CS lead just growing here. And unfortunately for Beyond Gaming, they cede control over the Dragon Pit, and wouldn't you know it, Nightstar, it's another first Infernal.
Another combat dragon here is.
Oh, look at this Mission.
It's not going to be a kill,
but he zones him out. He's got no teleport. They can just start Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
They might actually be able to get a kill onto the bottom as the bubble stops it. That's a nice play. Gemini spotted.
And here's the thing: they don't even need to start the dragon. Just the fact that they're able to chunk down Minji so low, it allows them to now get bot side vision. They're able to once more throw their jungler into BYG's jungle and get more and more knowledge, and it's all about the knowledge game, keeping track of these junglers. With Gemini, okay, this is a big play.
Finds him.
He has a level
for help. This is big right now. Gemini has flash to get out, and he uses. Oh my goodness! Shun just dies straight up out to Kino while that's happening. Gemini couldn't get in there to play it, and Beyond, they call the bluff. They spot the greedy dragon play, and they capitalize.
That's a huge turn. And down in that bot lane, that's also a massive moment there, as they actually had traded that. You look at the itemization, you have that serrated dirt completed by Wako. That actually gives him more trade power than Shun, who just now completed tier 2 boots. So it just goes back to the fact, hey, level 1, Callisto reigns supreme, but afterwards, at level 3 and beyond, that's where things will shift back in favor of this Lucian, as we will get to see the replay. It's just so much burst with the additional damage coming in from the serrated Dirk, and the flash away to secure the kill is essential, because that would have been the bailout coming through if he committed to that fight.
Yeah, I actually think Shun thought he was just going to be able to take that. The bailout was so fast that it seemed like it was probably premeditated. At the same time, Beyond, they just call the bluff on both sides and get themselves the dragon and the kill. Yes, it goes to Kino, but still not too bad, and that kind of recorrects the 2v2 mistake from earlier on. First Drake, that battle stat that Beyond get for themselves, certainly going to be happy, and massive. They can use it on the map immediately.
Inferno is huge for them because it extends the amount of kill pressure that they are going to have in this 2v2. It also
get that level 6 first.
Coming out. Yes, level 6
calling.
Hit by the Lucian, and once it gets out of the lane phase, how Wako uses his culling is going to be key, because he has to be super proactive in utilizing it. Not only are you going to get big chunk damage, but if you combine it in tandem with your first strike, you just farm so much extra gold as now Wako.
Yeah.
Look at the damage.
A lot of damage on both of them as they go all in for Wako, but he's looking for the outplay. Oh, Shun! With the Ren stack pull, they're able to get the kill, and meanwhile, Shun trying to tag team it out. with Koala, but this seems extremely over-aggressive.
Kino!
Without the bailout back, Kino could wave goodbye to both of them here, and that's going to be at least one for the long kill. Saw that coming, but couldn't stop it. Here comes Minji. Koala going forward with the bubble, gets the yoink back. Bailouts on him as well, but they outlive and outlast, and woo, I've never seen a wave goodbye like that.
Oh my lord. That is
the definition of hubris. That was staying around with the health bars like that was absolutely the definition of hubris.
And you can understand it, right? Because it is a support. However, unfortunately, it is not. Who has still one of the higher damages when it comes to the support position. Get to see the replay. This is well executed coming in from BYG. Remember, they have level advantage. It's just they overplay their hand. And Kino flashes
into the face
minion
call
wave to dodge, and also puts himself in a position where he's still able to output damage onto CFO. I love that positioning, and then the wave. Yeah, it's kind of a
nothing
long
you
wave.
can do about that. Yeah. But they didn't have to recommit to it, right? They could have escaped upriver, and I think that is the big difference. And Beyond gonna win out as a result of it. They are still down in the gold game, but by like the slimmest of margins here. It's 100, 200 gold as they get the blue buff takeaway. You can start to see Husha keeping Gemini a little bit down, at least in some of these fights. Still, the 2v2 is kind of a toss-up with the level disadvantage even so because of the play here. And Gemini has arrived. If he can do so blindly, the lane gank could be deadly.
We have a 3-1 Nami support, Pyra. This is...
It's a bloodthirsty support. Doa would be proud.
This is as big of a carry as you could get. Oh.
Okay. You gotta check in top. We haven't talked about this all game right now, as it's been all about the bot side. Rest, by the way, has not really been losing all that hard to Leakai. And look at this. He's just straight up going for the 1v1 play. Bellows breath on to just shred the health bar. And you ask that question. Is this going to be Rest outplaying Leakai in an unfavorable matchup? I think we're starting to get an answer.
So far, it's yes. However, it's still, you know, we're still playing the scaling game, and as the game does progress, there's only so much you can do as the Orm against the Fiora. Or the Fiora's just going to have too much damage after a certain degree. But coming back to the solo lanes in general, because this was, you know, after getting really blasted in game number 1, need to see our lanes on the side of BYG improve. And so far, it's not great in this mid lane, but Mindy's still holding out on his own, right? You're still keeping up in the farm department. It's just the fact that mission on this, on the Victor, is just that much better, right? Because 12 minutes in, he's above the farm pace, whereas Mindy's only at the farm pace.
And Minji has not really made a whole lot of plays outside of lane, too. So he has been in the game, farming up, trying to keep pace with Mission. But you do start to see the difference between these two carries, and now it's starting to be the difference in items. Mission goes ahead and completes his Ludens first. It's not the first Mythic in this game, though, because the 3-in-1 Nami gets the Imperial Mandate at like 11 minutes on the game clock. That is pretty massive, and you have to respect that if you're CFO. But they are going to try and get into the Dragon to start off this Hex Tech. Also, a pretty big amount of battle stats to try and pick up themselves. Bushikino not going to let him get away for free, though. Well, maybe they will. That's a lot of damage. You can't contest that.
Yeah,
right.
they actually just go ahead, give it away. The amount of zone tools on the side of CFO, able to keep them at arm's length. And this is also them bringing... Oh, okay, this is an engage. This is pretty...
All right, another wave. They find Koala here. It's a lot of damage. Here comes Minji, but they might be able to take out at least one with the pullback from Koala. Gemini baits the rest of the team away, and that will be all for naught. It was a nice attempt by Beyond Gaming, but it doesn't pan out.
And Beyond Gaming, they back off of the Dragon because of the fact that Leakai up in that top side didn't walk down. Okay, Minji, he's taking a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage from the Chaos Storm. Oh boy, Mission just feels like he can get the full-on outplay. Forces the flash. Oh, Minji's getting outclassed.
That was That was pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, they give over the dragon in that instance because Rest did come down from that top side. So Lee Kai, as the Fiora, of course, he's not going to bring a ton to this second dragon fight. He just goes ahead, just says, hey, all right, the plan is just get more gold into the Fiora, get her caught up to speed. And then perhaps on the third or even fourth dragon, we look for the fight as trying to figure out what the soul is. It's going to be Cloud Soul.
We got Cloud, yeah. Never mind what you see up there with the respawn timer.
Yeah.
We do have the Cloud.
So Cloud actually gives a lot of leeway for both of these teams. They aren't going to be forced into a position where you have to team fight. And for the side of BYG, this is a fantastic role, right? Because it means you can allow Lee Kai to just continue pushing on that next dragon, and perhaps even on the next one, because they have that 2-dragon buffer.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I mean, like, once they start stacking up a little bit more, that's going to be great for them with the move speed, because while they won't get battle stats out of it, they can avoid getting picked off and collapsed upon, which is something that CFO have been able to do quite a lot. So, 15 minutes on the clock. We're split at a Drake apiece. That Herald was, well, not neutralized, still kind of minimized, and CFO are going to go for another one here. They've had great objective control of the series, but Beyond have been able to get back a little bit cut into that as Gemini does get caught by Husha. Heart breaks to safety, and the Ice Bola goes wide onto Herald. Koala is going to be forced to flash out of this pit, unless, as expected, Shun was right there to pull him back on the face call. But with those tools expended, Beyond have the opportunity to take out the Herald themselves if CFO don't have something to say about it first. TP, they're going to reset for the 5v5. Now Beyond have to make a choice here.
Waiting for the Ornn ultimate.
Lasers flying. It's going to come down to a smite fight on the Herald, and the hostile takeover coming through the slow roller as well. It just peels him off. They take away Herald. Lee Kai's caught in the back of the pit, and unfortunately, it looks like it's Shun that was caught with him, so he walks it out.
Oh, wall comes out.
Off. The wall comes through.
They trapped him.
Rest getting taken so low, but he stays alive. I can't believe no one's died in this one, Nightstar.
Oh my lord. This fight is on a knife's edge. Now it will be the side of BYG trying to turn tempo into this mid lane.
That's the handshake.
Out.
Very low, and they take him down at the end with the ignite tick, and Ikai couldn't close the trap. The tower was too healthy. So CFO, they make out like bandits, robber barons even there, Nightstar. They get the Herald out from under the nose of Beyond, and they get a kill in the middle.
It's just the side of CFO having a little bit more team fight power right now. And we'll see the replay in this area, and just the threat of the Ornn ultimate just is more than enough for them to scatter. And because Wako Kima are zoned off on the side here, they aren't able to contribute anything to this fight. So while they would have loved to have snapped the trap shut onto him, the trap doesn't snap because the Chaos Storm just controls the space so well. However, that wall to respond back from Minji does showcase why this Taliyah pick will be a big highlight in the series, as that was almost good enough to really flip the situation.
Yeah, almost though doesn't quite cut it there, and the handshake pulls in. They get the burst damage on. Oh my goodness. It looks like we're going to have another fight after this as well, as they're just trying to fight it out over the chickens. Another few seconds and we'll have the Cloud Dragon, first one of game, spawning. But yeah, Nightstar, I love the... It's almost like Shun was like baiting intentionally, because he did actually hop into the pit and had to flash away. And then the Grand Challenge gets issued and he's like, nope, I will not fight you. Not today. Gets out of there.
Yeah.
As the Dragon's now
I'll
live.
ignore the challenge.
Yeah, runs away from the duel, which I think is a wise choice into Fiora most of the time.
Yeah. Okay,
here comes the wall. All right, the guy cut off Koala, but he doesn't go down here, and the Ram Jam actually buys a little bit more time. Koala gets thrown on the opposite side. It's Mission going to get caught. Here goes the hostile takeover. Wako going to get berserked on and turns over to Minji for a second as the Chaos Storm comes through. It's blinking health bars both ways. But Rest is paying
gonna
body block
bite.
right now as he tries to stay
The chase is
alive.
on!
They're going to get 3-man shoved. Minji opens up onto Koala, and Rest is only able to buy a handful of seconds. They lose 3 members on the CFO side. Beyond get a much-needed fight and should be able to take out this tower in the mid lane.
And it really just boils down to how well Likai and Wako are able to play these team fight situations, how well they're able to skirt around the outside of the fights. Because for the side of CFO, they do have very good front to back power because of that Ornn. That in that particular instance though, they were able to shred past that Ornn pick. And it was really just great fight setup coming in from BYG. Playing a more scattered lineup. The ultimate lands onto mission. He's in a good spot though, where he isn't under a ton of threat, but then he walks forward, gets caught out by the flick, and that's where things start to turn on its head because of the chunk onto some of these squishier members. That, hey, we can just dump damage onto Rest for free, and that's such an insane flick coming in from Minji. Like, this is permaban status now.
Yeah, both of these Talias have been godlike this game. I mean, I didn't know that the seismic shove could get that big as Herald gets dropped up top. And it looks like CFO are just going to try to accelerate by hard pushing this top side. And they actually get a catch onto Husha, but he's able to dodge to safety for now. That wave is starting to get cut into, but with everybody but Rest here. Okay, shove onto the Herald. And, well, just going to get the one extra plate charge, I think, but it's being stalled pretty heavily. Herald getting stiff-armed quite well, but it still finally gets that charge in. That's going to be it for CFO. I think they wanted to open up more of this map here, Nightstar, as the Baron has been their area of expertise, and they are looking at it, but that's just the back away.
Ornn now level 13, so the Ornn items are going to start piling in. Gets himself a Thorn Mail on top of it. So trying his best to endure this 1v1. I would have much preferred to see the Anathema's chains here, just because it has damage reduction, and also just allows you to limit Likai's impact in these team fights, because if he does get CC'd, it extends the duration of that CC. But as things stand, we see a lot of that vision moved from the bottom half of the map to the top half coming in from BYG. So it does leave some pockets of vision exposed coming in for this next dragon. But BYG, they have that first Cloud Dragon, which gives them even more leeway to play around Likai. And I really think that they need to get just a little bit more resources into Likai. If he gets to that second item, that does start changing the complexion of that 1v1.
Yeah, it does, and that's the big thing right now, right? You're really looking for Likai to be able to just pop off in the side lane, become a massive threat, because that's why you pick the Fiora. You want to make sure you draw attention that way, but so far they've kind of been playing it out in the 5v5. It's worked out for them more recently. Gold lead for Beyond Gaming, Dragon lead as well, but CFO, they got a Victor, they got a Callista, they got a Viego. It does feel like their late game starts to look a little bit better as the time goes on, and this lead is not nearly as big, almost non-existent. 500.
Yeah, the lead's not that large, and BYG are starting to shift into that mode where it has to be more about the side lane pressure rather than the straight up team fights. However, we have 9 kills in this game, Pyra. And 7 are owned by our supports.
Yeah, 5 kills on the Nami.
Combat.
Just build a Medjai's already, and Shun, he gets caught. Immediately burns both his sums to get out of there. A great collapse by Beyond Gaming. And that's important. We're about 1:15 to the next Dragon fight, and Baron is always an opportunity. I want to see Beyond pull some triggers here. You're absolutely right, the Nightstar. The kills, not that high, and where they are, it's all in those supports. It's massive that Kino has had such an outsized impact on this one. I'm sitting on the Oblivion Orb as well. I kind of want him to just be a Medjai's reader this game. I know books and water don't usually mix, but, you know, get some waterproof sleeves or something. I don't know, get a Kindle, whatever.
Yeah. get some, high class water.
There's got to be like waterproof books. Like that's got to be a thing. Like those kids books, like just made out of plastic.
Oh yeah.
Medjay is basically a kid's book. It's just you get lots of damage out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a wizard book, so
it's an easy read.
You'd imagine the extra magic in the book probably keeps it waterproof.
You would have to hope that'd be like the first spell they put on a magic book, right? Like, this book can get wet and be fine. Otherwise, like, bad priority for wizards. I don't know. The League of Legends universe, there's a lot of questionable things. I think it's fair to say. So I won't really go too deep down that rabbit hole as CFO look to line things up here, looking for a pick, looking for a play. Rest of the important. Here comes Ruben's ball as they do manage to get the catch out on a mission, but he goes golden to buy some time, and in goes that hostile takeover and the call of the Forge God. Everything dumped into the disengage, but the fight is not over yet. Leakai, Wako looking to collapse. They find Gemini, who's forced to heartbreak straight in the waiting arms of Leakai. Finds the kill. They manage to get a yoink back, but Koala's already dead in that pullback mission. Isolated, big shutdown. Beyond Gaming are cleaning house on a CTBC Flying Oyster.
And it's the side of BYG able to capitalize on the mispositioning coming in from CFO. On this Victor pick, once more we see Mission overextending himself. This time he has a stopwatch. He's able to buy some time. But those kinds of egregious mispositionings, you can't commit those time after time. And we saw in the PSG series, it happened time after time, that it almost did cost them that 5-game series. It was on the nice
looking like it will this
BYG,
game.
they capitalize on that this time around. Now CFO, they will still get a dragon, but the extra fight stats coming in from the extra golden flux is going to be massive for BYG, especially when you have the Fiora now onto a complete 2 items that does shift the power dynamic straight into the Fiora in the 1v1. And not to mention, they're winning team fights with a Fiora. That shouldn't be happening to begin with when you have an Ornn.
Yeah, this is honestly Rest Forge God calls have just not been the most impactful when you compare. Let's take a look at how this fight sets up. They use pretty much everything as a disengage. The Weaver's Wall comes out, and immediately a brilliant ult by Husha. Mission buys time, as you said, but look at everything. Forge God doesn't hit anything. It's a dodge, but like, you're not trying to fight the fight. You're trying to get out of there, and now your tool doesn't exist anymore, and they're not on the same page. Gemini goes in, immediately regrets it. Heart breaks out, straight into the split. Now with the Baron empowered minions, you can see picture-in-picture, and Mission just completely gets caught out in the wrong spot. It's looking like we're getting ourselves a series. After that first big victory for CFO, Beyond are firing back there. The Forge God again. Why are you doing that? Nobody wants to fight.
Forge God has been great here. Now the wall comes in. They are cut off to a degree.
Minji's taking a little low, but Leakai starting to run train. The team fight Fiora just diving for the cleanup of the kills. Replace that sword with a mop because this janitor duty here. And now Beyond have broken straight into the base, finding not one, but it looks to be soon 2 inhibitors, unless they want to just end this right now on the death timers. Mission's 30 seconds away, Gemini 25. Beyond realize they can do this game in even less time. They get the knock up, knock back. Rest has nowhere to go, even in the Bellows breath. He just barely hangs on, but they are working their way through on the base. Shun taken low. Minions take out that inhibitor, but Beyond can't quite end it here. The game will continue.
Game continues, but it's now a 7,000 gold lead for the side of BYG. They aren't able to secure that top inhib, but they break the mid one. We're incredibly close to cracking the Nexus towers as well, and it's just CFO coming in with this composition that you would say outscales. However, it's just Mission being out of place, non-stop, and then Rest, unfortunately on this Ornn, hasn't looked that great. Yes, individually in the lane phase has been fun. And
but that's not what you pick
that
for.
Yeah, we see that he understands how to play Ornn in lane, which might have also been one of those questions as well. But the execution around the Ornn later on in the game, wow, you can see the idea behind some of these ultimates because there's just no follow-up from the rest of his team. These ultimates also just look really, really silly.
And Beyond has just been able to stretch CFO around the map at this point. The 4-1 is in full swing, and they have so much control over the map, so they can just wait as they polish off the last of the turrets outside of base, just for this next dragon to come up. I don't really think it's going to be a soul game based on the way it's going. Probably the next Baron should decide things, as that's about 2 minutes and change away. And the shoe's on the other foot. CFO are going to have to find that Hail Mary of a fight, but who are you looking for? A flank from Rest? He's got to do a lot better than we've seen him this game, and here comes the Weavers. While the minimum get the opportunity as they cut CFO off from their own base turret and dish some serious chunk damage to it. Shouldn't take it low. Meanwhile, nobody's defending Fiora.
Yeah, they have to start pulling down their Victor in the event a teamfight did break out, right? Whenever that wall comes down, you're really concerned about just the all-in trigger from the side of a BYG. But they play super measured here. Now they're going to try and finish off.
Oh, Shun's bursted. Goodbye. The Call of the Forge God does manage to get a couple of knockups as well as that hostile takeover, but with Shun gone, the core is really out of it. Mission needed to do more damage.
Here.
Lee Kai completely untouched. They're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, and they're looking for Lee Kai, but he dashes away to safety yet again. CFO are waiting on Shun to come back into this one. Husha just keeps them at bay as that tower under threat. This is the last remaining inhibitor, sure to fall as they get the stun off onto Rest, get him knocked in. The Grand Challenge is issued. He's able to flash away. However, Lincoln Health Bars means that last inhib's going to fall down, and even though Beyond, they keep it measured, they don't end it here. They have absolutely cracked CFO's base like a nut.
Just in time for the dragon spawn. It will be a third dragon go into their hands. Extra move speed. Not going to matter a ton in this last moment here, and it's all about this next Baron. Do CFO come and contest, or do they just settle in and just say, all right, we'll get as much EXP as we can get, buy our elixirs to just have the best opportunity for a Hail Mary fight around our double Nexus. The only issue is you've got double super streaming on it. So it's a lot of extra gold influx about to come towards you. But the problem is, it's a lot of minions to try and fight against. And they're going to take a proactive approach, fight their way, clean out this mid wave. And they're the ones actually first onto the objective. They're trying to pull Lee Kai away from the situation. But he should just go for the end.
He will look for that one as Beyond trying to form members to pick them off here. They can just stop the ports in the back. At the moment, it's the Nexus turrets. They might be able to win a fight, but they certainly can't win the war on this one as the Fiora takes down one tower, two tower, the teleport coming in, but it's for Beyond Gaming, and that is going to be the end, even with the cancel. Lee Kai, Minji shows up just in time to see that one go. We're up 1-1. That's how we got a series.
You don't hate the attempt from CFO because you know against double super minion waves, you had to make a bold call. And the bold call they made was go straight to Baron. If Beyond Gaming are behind on the play, or if Lee Kai is just not that far pushed up, that play works out because they're able to get the recalls off, the base isn't threatened, and they can reset the situation, farm out those double minion waves with the extra help of Baron minions fighting back. But it doesn't pan out that way. And Beyond Gaming, this, as clinical as Game 1 was, Game 2 was that for the side of Beyond Gaming, and it looks like it's just going to be a battle for blue side here.